my name's Lachlan. I've been meaning to do this vlog thing for a very long time now. I don't have any professional equipment. I have my phone jacked up on a ladder, pretty dodgily. Hopefully the dog's not in the shot. Don't have any microphones. Been building cars for a fair while now, so just thought I'd start sharing my story, my experiences, all that sort of stuff. At the moment I have three major projects, one being an R34 sedan, an R31 that I drift, and this S13, which has been in storage for the last couple of years, but I am eager to get into it. So before I take you on a tour of the car, I'll give you a little backstory on it. I've had it for a couple of years now. It has been in storage, and it's always kind of been pushed to the side a little bit. So when I first started the project, I bought the car running and driving. Had a minor front end on the left-hand side, so I changed the guard, pulled the front end out, got the car running because all the intercooler piping was all mashed up and that. So put some new piping on it, got it running. Turns out after doing a few donuts, it had a bottom end knock. So we then had to pull the motor, pull the gearbox, start buying some bits and bobs to refresh the motor. But in the meantime, whilst it sat, I stole the coilovers off of it for my R31. There was a nice set of wheels on it. That got put onto another car. A few bits and bobs here and there got sold off of the car just because it was kind of sitting there, it wasn't getting used. So yeah, in hindsight, probably shouldn't have got rid of a few of those parts, but it happens. Obviously, since sitting for a couple of years, the price of them have gone up as well. So I thought now's the time to really start getting stuck into it. So the first thing you'll notice is that it is seafoam over grey. And as far as I'm aware, it is the factory colour, because if you open up in the door jambs here, it has the green, the seafoam green, and the grey with a real nice fine line on it. And you can see where someone's resprayed it as well, right on the edge here. So to me, this was a factory seafoam green over grey car, which is a real good bonus because that's probably one of my favourite colours for this car. You can see the inside's kind of like, the car's been used, so it does have cracks on the dash and all that sort of stuff, as the all S13s. It's got a cool box in the glove box, which is a nice addition. Yeah, GK Tech steering wheel. It's got a lot of good little bits on it. It's got R33 brakes and discs. Just those C's coilovers I was on about that I swapped from my drift car. R33 brakes and discs on the rear. A lot of adjustable arms under here. So my original plan for this car was to have a nice streeter. But since then, like I said, I've built the R34. I was thinking drift car, but I've already got my R31 that's pretty rowdy. So what I want to do with this is, well, what I did want to do, before I'll tell you in a second what happened, is basically put the motor back together, put it as a very low powered technical car that anyone can jump in. So I really did want a car that I could share with my friends and family and all that sort of stuff. People that want to get into drifting, don't really have the money, all that sort of stuff. So I'm in a pretty lucky position where I can maybe provide that for a few people, which would be nice. So that's what I was thinking, very low technical build. So I do have the motor in the shed. We can go have a look at that. Right. So this is the Ca18 out of the S13. I've got them currently wrapped up at the moment because they have just been sitting here. Ended up being, for the motor, the bearings were just really, really thin. The car's done a lot of kilometers. Look like basic wear and tear item. Nothing over the top. So I got the head decked, checked, washed, all that sort of stuff. Same with the block. Just got it decked, honed. Got the crank ground, got new bearings to go in it, got these adjustable cam gears, metal head gasket, head studs, a few other little metal gaskets. I did want it to just be a very low budget build, really, just to get it back on the road and get a few more mates skidding. So that's where this motor's at. I have since then acquired another motor that was kind of just an opportunity I couldn't pass up. So I'll get into that one right now. I've got a bit of stuff on my face. It's very hot today. It is 30 degrees and I'm in, this isn't my main shed. This is just a little shed I've got at home. Basically the S13 just lives at home. It's a little project I like to just tinker with on the weekends and that. I do have the other two cars elsewhere. I use friends' workshops, the workshop at work. I'm very lucky. But this is where I just keep all my little bits and pieces. So I've shown you the motor that came out of the S13, but I've also got a story for the motor that I have now planned to go into the S13. Basically, this motor was owned by a friend of mine a few years ago. It's got a big list of, well, I won't say receipts because I don't actually have receipts, but it's got a big list of parts that are in the motor, who built it, all that sort of stuff. So I'll show you that now. So this is the other motor I bought for the S13. So the story goes, it was up for sale. The description was very vague and brief. It said Ca18, been taken care of, lots of work, never been used, all that sort of stuff, but nothing really specific about what was in the motor or what had been done to it or anything like that. So to me, the motor looked familiar. So I messaged a friend, and it turns out that he had it a couple of years ago, this exact motor. Um, he bought it off a guy in Queensland that got it built for his project, but never completed it. So then sold it to my mate with a whole bunch of, like, a list of stuff, a good rundown, description, all that sort of stuff. My mate stored it for a few years, properly oiled it, lubricated it, turned it over, put glad wrap on it and all that sort of stuff. So it's been properly stored. He didn't finish the project that he was going to put this motor in. He ended up selling that car and buying like a Supra or something silly like that. And then the person I purchased it off my mate. So when it came up for sale, I messaged my mate. I said, "Is this your old motor? What kind of stuff does it have in it? This, that, whatever." So my mate said, "Yes, that's a bargain. Basically, it's got 262 cams with headwork to support it. So I think it's all been ported and flow tested and all that sort of stuff." My mate said he saw the graph. He said it looked all right. He doesn't really know how to read it, but he said it was definitely flowing some good numbers. Um, Wiseco short skirt pistons, spool rods, a baffled and gated sump. Now, I'm not too sure about this sump. It may have been made for another car, so I'm wondering if it will fit the S13. Looks like it should, but it's definitely something I'm going to have to do a bit of research on, measure up, maybe just try and put it in, see if it fits. Looks like just like a little Chinese stainless manifold. Not too sure about these little red pulleys and passes and stuff like that. It does have black covers to go with it. The blue block is definitely a bit going. You can tell it was built a few years ago just because of all these sort of things. Like, no one in their right mind these days put a blue block with chrome covers, red pulleys, all that sort of stuff. So there's a couple of things that stand out to me to say that this is an older build. Obviously, putting the blue block, chrome covers, and the red pulleys aside, it has this veil side cap, which was a pretty big brand back in the day. Probably still is now. I'm not too sure. Me personally, I haven't bought many veil side things. I kind of thought that was older. Looks kind of older. I mean, definitely kind of like spec looking vibe going on here with all the colors and everything. Some corrosion on the intake, which makes me think that it has been sitting for a long time. A few little scrape marks from probably where it's been stored and stuff's dragged over the top of it and all that sort of stuff. All in all, I'm pretty happy with this motor. I mean, it is apparently good to go. Like, apparently I can just plug it in and away she goes. Obviously, it will need its run-in tune and all that sort of stuff. So it still hasn't actually been run in. But I'm excited for that. And then with the other CA, just keep it as a spare, I guess. Yeah, we can go from there. So I'll talk turbos. I've got 3 turbos at the moment, but they're all pretty shitty. The first one's a T25, which is obviously the standard CA18 turbo. Probably not great for anything close to 200 kilowatt. I think they start to run out of legs. They're a bit small, a bit outdated. I have an old school Chinese turbo that came in a box with this motor. Looks fairly big, but again, I'm not liking the idea of like an old school turbo. Just for reliability and all that sort of stuff. It looks Chinese. I do have a max speeding rods turbo as well, but all those 3 options seem pretty uneasy to me. Like, I'd love to put like maybe like a Garrett 2860 RS on this. Super responsive, won't run out of legs until maybe close to 250 to 300 kilowatt between that mark. And I've heard really good things about them. I know a few people that have them, love them, and they said probably would be perfect for motor. So that's probably the way I'll go with that. We'll keep it pretty conservative power, considering I want it to be like a learner car. I don't want to be chucking 250, 300 kilowatts through it and overcomplicating things. If people are going to learn in it, I'd say 200 is more than enough. Maybe we'll have another settings to bump it up to like 250 when we want to party. But I do want to go conservative with this build. This motor was just an opportunity I couldn't really pass up. And if I am conservative with it, hopefully it lasts a lifetime. So the car itself's not the best example. It's just got some fiberglass over fenders on it. Sorry, fiberglass guards, I should say. The door's pretty dented up. The quarter's definitely seen better days. Looks like it's taken a hit at some stage. Someone's tried to pump those guards out, and in return, it sunk the metal through the center. There's some nut certs in here from when it had over fenders on it. I will probably just put over fenders back on it. Maybe a body kit if I can find one on the cheap. Spoiler, like there are some little rust holes. Definitely a complete car though, see a bit more rust. And for what I want to do with it, it's probably perfect because it's just nice enough not to have too much hassle getting it back to where I want it. But it's not mint enough for me to want to worry about restoring it or keeping it as an investment or anything like that. So ultimately, I've got 3 projects, and the way I'm looking at them is, I'd say the R34 is at the top. It's a really nice build. I've been trying to really get the eye for detail. Basically, it's a street car that I want heads turned. Gone the extra effort on it, sort of thing. So the next step down, I want the S13. Basically, I want it to still present well as a street car, but I also want to enjoy it, and I want to let other people enjoy it. So that'll be like the next step down. I want to make it nice, simple, easy build. Something that's not too complicated, too complex. Just have a nice, fun time in a low-powered car. Have some good laughs in it. And then at the bottom, I've got my Ghetto 31. Just makes a bunch of power, live axles, a big smoke show. Yeah, so they're the 3 levels of cars that I have. So I am really enjoying the idea of a very low-powered, not very low-powered, but a lower-powered car that's a bit more technical that everyone can enjoy. I kind of did this video as a bit of a test pilot for myself to see what I was like talking in front of a camera, if I was confident, showing people my things, sharing all my stuff. I did really enjoy it. I feel like I definitely am more confident even from the last hour I've been recording. When I first started, I felt like I was pretty nervous, all that sort of stuff, but now it's just like talking to myself. It's weird, but I'm doing it. So if you guys want to see more, let me know. Let me know if I should go chrome covers on the motor or if I should paint them up or whatever. I definitely need some microphones because I can already tell the sound is terrible when it's cutting in and out and it's up and down and all that sort of stuff. Tripod would be handy because my arm's getting sore. But yeah, hopefully this is like an introduction to more that I can produce. Hopefully I'll learn along the way how to produce things a lot better. At the moment I'm just recording with my phone. I'll probably edit this on my phone. I did do it as kind of a practice, so cool. I've had fun. See you later.